This story begins on the 18th of May 1967. Texas oil billionaire Nelson Bunker Hunt, using a sophisticated satellite technique to detect global deposits, discovers a huge oil source south of New Zealand in the Great South Basin. 10th of June 1967. Hunt and New Zealand Finance Minister reach an agreement. Hunt will receive sole drilling rights and Muldoon will receive a $100,000 non-repayable loan from Hunt's Placid Oil Company. 8th September 1967. Placid Oil granted drilling rights to the Great South Basin. 10th of May 1968. Hawaiian meeting between Onassis and top lieutenants William Colby and Gerald Parsky to discuss establishment of a new front company in Australia, Australasian and Pacific Holdings Limited, to be managed by Michael Hand. Using Onassis Rockefeller banks, Chase Manhattan and Schroders, Travelodge Management Limited sets up another front to link the operations to the United States. Onassis crowned head of the Mafia. Colby, head of CIA covert operations in Southeast Asia, ran the Onassis heroin operations in the Golden Triangle, with 200 Green Beret mercenaries. Gerald Parsky, deputy to the ex-CIA FBI Rupert Murdoch in the Howard Hughes organisation, took orders from Onassis and was made responsible for laundering skim money from the Onassis casino operations in Las Vegas and the Bahamas. Mid-July 1968, Placid Oil Company and the Seven Sisters begin Great South Basin oil exploration. Hunt finances 45.5% of exploration costs, Gulf Oil 14.5%, Shell US 10%, BP Oil 10%, Standard Oil California 10%, Mobil 6.5%, and Arco 6.5%. 12th October 1968. Hunt and Seven Sisters announced confirmation of new oil source comparable to the Alaskan North Slope. Gas reserves estimated at 150 times larger than the Capuni field. Early 1969. Mafia consolidates its banking operations. David Rockefeller becomes chairman of Chase Manhattan, Walter Wriston at Citibank, and Michele Sindona captures the Vatican Bank. Partnership Pacific launched by Bank of America, Bank of Tokyo, and Bank of New South Wales. 24th February 1969. Onassis calls council meeting in Washington to discuss strategy to monopolise the Great South Basin discovery. Council members included Nelson Rockefeller and John McCloy, who managed the Seven Sisters, and David Rockefeller, who managed the Mafia's banking operations. 10th of March 1969. Parsky and Colby use Australasian and Pacific Holdings to set up a front company in Australia. Using Mellon Bank and Pittsburgh National Bank, they buy control of near-bankrupt Industrial Equity Limited, managed by New Zealander Ron Brierley. Australasian and Pacific Holdings consultant Bob Selden helps Michael Hand set up the new organisation. October 1969. Chase Manhattan begins new operation in Australia with National Bank Australasia and AC Goods Associates, Chase NBA. J.C. Fletcher appointed chairman of Seven Sisters Company, British Petroleum, New Zealand. 17th February 1970. Gerald Parsky sets up a new heroin dollar laundry in Australia, Australian International Finance Corporation, using the Irving Trust Bank, New York. Thanks, Gerald. April 1970. Onassis, Rockefeller and the Seven Sisters begin setting up the Shadow World government, using the Illuminati-controlled banks and transnational corporations. In Melbourne, they set up the Australian International Finance Corporation, using Irving Trust New York, Crocker Citizens National, Bank of Montreal, Australia and New Zealand Bank, ANZ. Meantime, Japanese members of One World Government move into New Zealand, helped by Finance Minister Rupert Murdoch. Mitsubishi and Mitsui make a profitable deal buying up rights to iron sands, helped by Marcona Corporation and Todd Corporation. Todd rewarded with sole New Zealand franchise for Mitsubishi vehicles. November 1970. Fletchers extend the Rockefeller Travelodge operation by buying control of New Zealand's largest travel company, Atlantic and Pacific Travel. Early 1971. Onassis and Rockefeller begin global operation to buy influence for the One World Government concept. They use Lockheed, Northrop and Litton Industries agent Adnan Khashoggi to organise operations in the Middle East, Iran and Indonesia. ICI set up a $2.5 million slush fund to Australia and New Zealand. Finance Minister Muldoon changes law to allow Mafia-controlled banks to begin operations in New Zealand. Late 1971. Gulf Oil and their man Brierley begin organising chains of shell companies and dummy corporations to conceal their takeover operations of oil, gas and mineral resources and related industries such as vehicle franchises, vehicle spare parts and finance services, all part of the Seven Sisters controlled car culture. They also extend links to the US banking operations by buying control of a strategic Australian sole franchise for construction and mining equipment. February 1972. Onassis and Rockefeller help associate Adnan Khashoggi buy the Security Pacific National Bank in California and take control of the United California Bank through CIA-linked Lockheed Aircraft Corporation. Both banks used by Onassis and Khashoggi to funnel bribes and payoffs via the CIA's Deke Bank to captive Japanese and other crooked politicians. Security Pacific also used to launder over $2 million for Nixon's re-election campaign. Khashoggi also buys 21% of Southern Pacific Properties, which is the major stockholder in Travelodge Australia, thereby establishing direct links to New Zealand and UEB, and Fletchers through its equity links with Travelodge New Zealand. April 1972. Mafia banking operations expanded through New Hebrides with establishment of Australian International Limited to finance Pacific development by the oil companies, Seven Sisters. Banks involved include Irving Trust New York, Bank of Montreal, Crocker International, Australia and New Zealand Bank, and the Mitsubishi Bank. 26 May 1972. Gerald Parsky installs Michele Sindona as owner of Franklin National Bank, helped by the Gambino family and David Kennedy, chairman of Continental Illinois Bank and Nixon's Secretary of the Treasury.